Coming up on this edition of Roanoke County Today, we look back at some of the best segments from 2017. Stay tuned for a great show.
We're back here at the RCACP, and now we're going to be talking about a food pantry here at the center. So, Linda, tell us a little bit about this feature.
At the RCACP, one of our main goals is to make sure that people in the valley are able to keep their pets. We don't want them to have to come here because people cannot afford to feed their animals. So we have a program here called the Pet Food Pantry, and what we do is we accept donated food for the Pet Food Pantry, and then they're able to come to us and get food for their animals so that everyone stays in a loving home. The pet owners have a loving home for the animals, and the animals are in the same home they've been in, and so they don't have to come here and get rehomed out.
Okay, and what type of food do you accept?
We accept all types of food: cat food, dog food, canned food, dry food, anything that you think that your pet would eat at home, we would take it here.
Okay, and do you accept any other items than food?
We also like to have litter, because sometimes that's a hard thing to come by and it can be expensive.
Sure.
There's other things that people, any kind of enrichment for the animals, little balls for the cats to chase, bones for the dogs, toys, things
Play
like
toys.
that. Yes.
Okay, and also I understand you have a partner organization that works with you. Tell us about that.
We have several different partner organizations. Some here in the valley. We have the Franklin County Humane Society, the SPCA, Angels. We've just started a partnership with Fairfax County Animal Shelter, and they are very generous when we take animals up there to them. They take some of our animals to adopt, and so every time they come back, they always have lots of stuff for us, for our pet food pantry, and also for the animals here.
Okay, and how do residents take advantage of this service that you're providing here?
It's very easy. We have a very brief form that we ask people to fill out, and they just have to come down here to the shelter and let us know what they need, and we try to give them everything that they need.
The RCACP also accepts other donations for the residents here at the center. What are those needs?
Absolutely. Every day we can use newspaper to put in the cat cages. If anyone has ever had a cat, they know that you go through newspaper a lot. We also need animal enrichment, things like Kongs and cat toys and dog toys, balls, Kongs for the dogs. They even make little Kongs for the cats. It's amazing. But anything just to keep their minds engaged and to make them more comfortable. We also accept any kind of like towels from your house, or sheets or bedspreads, any of that kind of thing that we can use for bedding. But definitely some newspaper would be great.
Sure. And talk about some of the upcoming events that you all are participating in.
So the next thing we have on our agenda is the Vinton Christmas Parade, which is November the 30th, and we'll be taking our trailer out there and spiffing it up. Then we have December the 9th at the Vinton Library. It's called A Home for the Holidays, and that will be from 12 to 4 at the Vinton Library, and then we're going to be doing some other special things throughout the month. We're really hoping to get out and let people see the dogs and maybe walk a dog or two or play with a cat and just kind of decompress a little bit, because the holidays can be very stressful.
Sure, sure. And so this is a really important time of year when people are giving. This is a great way people can give, whether it's to the pet food pantry or just helping here at the shelter for the needs of these special little fur babies. Sure, and you all always need volunteers, I'm sure, to come out and help with the animals as well.
Yes, we look for volunteers as well, and there's applications on our website, which is www.rcacp.org, and there's a volunteer application there, and everyone is welcome to join us as we try to make this a decent place to be, and not such a hardship for them.
Sure, and this would certainly make a great present for families if they're looking for some Christmas presents. You've got some sweet little fur babies like this one here that you could take home.
And also at Parkway Veterinarian, they have a Christmas tree set up for us for our RCACP animals too.
Okay.
Like an angel tree.
Great. So you can find you on the website or come out here and visit, or look for you all around town. Great. Thanks so much for joining us today and
Thank you.
sharing the information. And we're glad Chase joined us as well.
Thanks.
Thanks. We'll be right back.
Roanoke Alert is a citizen alert and warning system that Roanoke County will use to notify all Roanoke County households and businesses affected by or in danger of being impacted by a local emergency or disaster. Notifications will include important information about the event and any actions, such as evacuation, that officials are asking people to take. Set up an account to add your VoIP telephone like Vonage or Cox or a cell phone. Sign up today before disaster strikes and be prepared.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me today is Planning Administrator for Roanoke County, David Holliday. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Amy.
So, first of all, tell our viewers a little bit about your role as Planning Administrator.
Well, one of my main duties these days is a liaison with the Virginia Department of Transportation. Within Roanoke County, the state transportation department handles all of our roads from interstate all the way down to Bernard Drive, where our county administration building is. And with that comes a lot of interaction between the Board of Supervisors and the Virginia Department of Transportation. So a lot of what I do is handling that process through the board, and that's grant applications, it's resolutions of support for those grant applications, it's programming that the board does for secondary roads and for revenue sharing program, et cetera.
Okay, a lot going on. I know there are a lot of projects on the horizon. So tell us about some of those projects that are coming up.
Well, one significant one that's in design right now is improvements to I-81. There's actually a public hearing at Northside High School November 14th to discuss that, and that's going to be auxiliary lanes from the exit 141 to 143, and that's from 419 to 581 on both sides, similar to what's happened on 581 between Valley View Interchange and Hirschberger.
Right.
Other projects of significance, that's in design right now. Other project in design is improvements to Route 419 in front of Tanglewood Mall. That's going to be a big improvement. We're looking at other things down the road, no pun intended, in that area. One significant bridge replacement project on Route 220 that's just getting started is the bridges over Back Creek. Those were built in the late 40s, and it's time to get new bridges. That's going to be a significant improvement there. The Plantation Road project has been under construction this summer, and that's a shared use path and pedestrian bicycle facilities along Plantation Road, serving our businesses and a kind of a welcome to Roanoke County entrance. And the exit 140 parking ride is just being completed, and that's a big improvement out on exit 140 in western Roanoke County.
Sure, and there's a roundabout as well, isn't there? A planned roundabout?
Thank you for reminding me.
Sure.
A number of projects we have going on. The intersection of Route 311 and Route 419 is going to get rebuilt from the three-legged stop signal intersection it is now to a roundabout design, and that is in design right now. I don't know the construction dates, but it's next couple years it's going to be going into construction.
Okay, and that's in the Catawba area, correct?
Yes.
Or just entering that area? That's
a significant intersection. It carries a lot of commuter traffic from northwest Roanoke County and Craig County into Roanoke. It's a bypass when 81 is clogged up. It's also every student that lives in that area of Roanoke County that goes to school in middle school or high school has to travel through that intersection to get to school. So it's a busy place.
Yes, very significant. So all of these projects are significant, certainly, but all for the betterment of our citizens,
That's
certainly.
Right.
So how are projects selected and then funded?
Well, a number of different ways. One of the most significant is a new system that the Commonwealth of Virginia started through legislation in 2014 and then started up the application process in 2015. It's called Smart Scale, and it is an objective process for selecting projects based on limited funds, and the county and the regional planning agencies that we support have had a lot of success getting projects funded with that program. The 419 project in front of Tanglewood was funded through that, and the I-81 auxiliary lanes were funded through that. The 311, 419 roundabout was funded through that. There are other sources, the bridge replacement funds that are supporting the 220 project, regional surface transportation program funds that are supporting the exit 140 park and ride. And then we have the Board of Supervisors is involved in programming for secondary road funds, which is a small pot of money. And then the revenue sharing program is another application cycle that we are involved in, and it's a program where the county and VDOT split the funds for that for a certain project that the county wants to advance.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask next. Is tell us a little bit about revenue sharing. What does that mean?
It's a program where the county can make application through the state for matching funds that the county would support the other half of the match for projects that the county wants to advance and move forward. Two that we are applying for funds for right now are, one of the most significant is an extension of Fallow Water Lane off Electric Road, and this is an implementation of the beginnings of the Route 419 plan that's been in the works for the past year and a half. Another project that we're applying for funds for is to rebuild the intersection of Starkey Road and Buck Mountain Road from a three-way stop intersection and yield situation to a roundabout as well. So those are in the application program process right now. We won't know until next spring whether we're successful in receiving the VDOT match.
Okay, and so how can citizens find out or keep up with all of these projects?
Well, the most direct way is through interaction with us, and the Roanoke County Transportation webpage has some information, basic information on the front page of it, and news notices about things that are happening right now. But also within that, on the projects tab, there's what we call a transportation story map that is a web-based interaction that anybody can use to click on projects. Then they're separated by interstate, primary, secondary, bicycle and pedestrian, etc. And you can click on those tabs and see dots within the county map, and you can click on those dots and find out about the project.
Oh, that's great. And it's RoanokeCountyVA.gov and then
Transportation.
Okay.
If you search, I tried it earlier this morning, if you search Roanoke County Transportation Story Map, you'll get to that project page as well. It takes you right to it.
A lot of good information. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us and filling us in on all of these projects. I know we've highlighted several of them, and we'll certainly continue to keep up with you and give citizens more updates as they come along.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Participation in the Roanoke County Recycling Drop-Off Trailer Program has been increasing. The following etiquette tips will help our citizens receive the most benefit from the recycling program. Please break down any boxes before placing them in the containers. We currently accept mixed paper, plastics, and cans. Please do not place items with food residue in bins. Fill trailers to capacity. When the recycling trailer is full, please do not place items on the ground outside of the trailer. Visit another recycling trailer location. Please use the trailers properly.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me today is Sergeant Ray Torres with the Roanoke County Police Department. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk today about a lot of things happening behind us, traffic, and a lot of ongoing safety efforts with the department. But before we begin, tell us a little bit about your role.
My role is as the traffic sergeant for the Roanoke County Police Department. So what I do is, first off, I supervise our traffic officers, and so I manage them and make sure that they're facilitating and using my resources with them wisely. So I look at our crash data and our speed data, and I analyze that and make sure that the officers that we have are utilizing them wisely. So if we have crashes occurring in certain locations or we have a new pattern pop up, we're trying to reduce those patterns or reacting to those patterns by using our officers when we can. And then also any kind of speed enforcement devices we have or radar devices, we'll try to use those to try to reduce the crashes or reduce speeding. So I analyze all those data and all that information. And then I also work jointly with all the other agencies in the area to work on DUI checkpoints and click it or ticket campaigns. And so I have a lot of different facets I'm involved in.
Sure. There's a lot involved in traffic safety. And we're standing here, I should say, off of Route 419 near Tanglewood Mall, which is probably the busiest traveled road here across the county. So I know one thing the police department's doing is launching a campaign focused on driving safety. So tell our viewers what that entails.
what that entails, what we're looking at is we want to really start making people thinking about driving. We want to start bringing everyone's attention back into what they're doing when they're in their cars. We want to start with 419. 419, as we just talked about in front of Tanglewood Mall, everyone knows it's busy. Rush hour, 7 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock at night. We all know when we're approaching 419 in front of Tanglewood, you know you're going to hit traffic. So what we want to do is remind people about what they're doing when they're in their cars, and to think about the driving aspect of that, and to kind of separate themselves from their phones, separate themselves from their radios, separate themselves from their daily tasks that they have going on every day, and to think about the driving that they're doing. We know everyone is human. I'm human. And when we get in our cars, we start thinking about the myriad of things that we have going on. The making lunch for the kids, the grocery list, the shopping list. It's coming up to Christmas, the Christmas shopping list. We know that all those things start happening in our minds, but we want to just remind people to focus and think about the driving that they're doing, because that's what causes accidents. When we forget about the vehicular travel and the car that we're responsible for driving, we start to lose focus and we have an accident because we don't see that the vehicle in front of us is starting to brake. And then we run into the back of them. Our foot slips off the brake and hits the gas pedal. We have an accident. We reach down to mess with the radio and we don't look in front of us and we have an accident. Or something as simple as it's not our fault, there's somebody behind us and we should be checking our mirrors and paying attention, and we could try to avoid the accident by pulling forward or moving into another lane, and we have that accident because somebody behind us is having a distracted moment. So we just want to reiterate those things, that when we know we're approaching those areas like Tanglewood Mall, like Challenger Avenue, where we have a cluster of vehicles, start thinking about your driving, start thinking about what's going on around you, and get into that defensive mode. So that's where we're heading to. We want to just start bringing that to the forefront of people's minds. So that's where we're going.
Okay, and what messages that you want viewers to know about today?
What messages? Thinking. We want to start talking about paying attention. We want to start talking about that distracted moment that we have. We want to start talking about having that conversation with your younger drivers. We want to start talking about, if you have your teen driver with you and you're driving, talk to them about what you're doing, about why are you checking your mirrors all the time? Why are you not looking at your phone? Why are you keeping that extra distance from the car in front of you, even when you're approaching that high congested area? Why aren't you blocking that intersection because you know that all the other cars in front of you are blocking it, but you're not? Mom, why aren't you doing that? Dad, why aren't you doing that? Because I'm not trying to cause a traffic accident. So to have those conversations with your teen drivers. If you have an older parent, have the conversation with them about, we know that there's a lot going on the road. So we maybe need to pay a little bit more attention. We have a lot of teen drivers. We have a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff going on in new cars now. Bluetooth's trying to activate. The radios are all different. So maybe we just need to take a little bit more time with our grandparents and our parents about what do they need help with in the cars, because there's so much more stuff in there than there was 20, 30 years ago. So maybe we need a little bit of help there. So slow things down for some people. Just help. And so taking the time and think about what we're doing in the cars. That's really what we're trying to drive the point home.
Some more awareness.
Absolutely.
I know one way that you're looking to raise awareness is through a social media campaign. I think there's a hashtag that will be coming out soon.
Yes, we're going to hashtag think about driving. Don't know how many times I can say think, but that's really what we're doing. Hashtag think about driving. You're going to see that. We're going to have some running billboards. We're going to have the social media campaign come out. When we do our social media campaign, we're going to look at focusing on individual issues as we go along. So we're not going to inundate people. We're going to talk about cell phones, and we'll talk about why are we looking at our mirrors all the time. We're going to talk about how do we interact with truck drivers. We're going to talk about all those different things throughout the time so that we don't inundate people. We'll talk about a little bit as we go to educate, because that's the big thing we want to do.
Okay, and I know you're partnering with VDOT as well.
Absolutely.
They've been an excellent partner. Of course, they're responsible for the roadways in Roanoke County and work very closely with the police department on safety measures too. So.
Yes, ma'am, we do. We work hand in hand with VDOT. They've been a great partner for us. They're going to work with us on putting up some reduced speed signs so that everyone's a little bit more aware. The speed limit's not changing, just maybe to give people a little bit more awareness. We're working with them, and whenever we do speed studies and things of that nature. So VDOT's a great partner, and they're continuing to be a great partner, especially throughout this process.
Okay, so think about hashtag think about driving.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. So we encourage our viewers to watch out for that, and I guess the final message would be to think about driving and slow down.
Just slow yourself down and think about what you're doing when you're coming into an area where you know you're hitting congestion.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you for the messages, and hopefully we'll get some updates from you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wanted to find a book, read the latest issue of a magazine, or do research at your local library on a Sunday? Well, now you can. Our South County and Vinton libraries are now open from 1 to 5 on Sunday afternoons. This means that you'll have access to our extensive collection of books, DVDs, and audiobooks, as well as our library's many computers and, of course, our friendly, helpful staff. We want to be part of your Sunday afternoons. For more information, contact the South County or Vinton libraries.
Think if your car has airbags you don't need to wear a seatbelt? Think again. An unrestrained occupant can be seriously injured when striking an airbag. There are 3 collisions in a crash. The vehicle strikes something, the body strikes something, internal organs strike something if the body suddenly stops. Seatbelts slow the body instead of a sudden stop, which lessens the 3rd collision. Always wear a seatbelt, even if your vehicle has airbags. Remember, click it or ticket.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me today is Roanoke County's Economic Development Director, Jill Loop. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Sure. And so we're really excited today to talk to you about a significant designation that Roanoke County recently received. And so tell us what that designation is and then a little more about it.
It was great news for Roanoke County when we received the 2017 top mid-sized community in the nation from the 4th Economy Community Index. So we're very excited about that.
Sure. And what is that?
Well, 4th Economy is a national community and economic development consulting firm, and they independently analyzed mid-sized markets across the country, and what they were looking at was economic competitiveness. The data sets that they looked at were about 19 distinct measures of communities across the country.
Okay, and tell us about the key metrics that were used in the scoring for this index.
Well, they looked at 5 key metrics, and that included investment, talent, sustainability, place, and diversity. And Roanoke County ranked very high in these categories.
Mm-hmm. And so the basis for the designation, tell us a little more about that.
Well, this designation was meant to score, to serve as a benchmark for communities across the country, and it basically evaluated the community's strength and resiliency and competitiveness. And Roanoke County in particular scored high on talent, diversity, and place. So we're very strong in these areas.
And what are some of the measures that set Roanoke County apart from all of the other communities?
Well, our low unemployment rate, our community health. There are other measures that we were very high on: travel time to work, affordability in housing and transportation, and population diversity. All of these things make Roanoke County a great place to live and invest. And over the past several years, community health has also played into the evaluation of Roanoke. And you know, our health system here is strong. The investments that we've made in recreation and our outdoor branding, they're all playing into our being a community that's getting recognized now across the country.
Sure. And what does this mean for not only your department, but for Roanoke County as a whole?
It confirms that we're a quality place to live and to invest. It helps us market the brand of Roanoke being a great place for people to want to visit, to live, and to set up a business.
Great. Well, I'm sure this will certainly attract more businesses and people to our area, which is what we'd love to see.
Well, and placemaking is also a key component of our strategic direction as we move forward in the county. So to be recognized as a quality place and have key metrics that score us in that direction is strong for the community.
It's very attractive.
Yes, it is.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing more about this with us.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be right back.
The South County Library is now a designated passport acceptance facility. Passport applications are taken by appointment during these hours only, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Monday and Tuesday evenings, 6 to 8 p.m. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call the South County Library at 540-777-8782. Details are also located on the County Library website, roanokecountyva.gov/passports.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me today is Gray Craig, Web Content Manager for Roanoke County. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Amy.
Well, we have something very exciting going on here in the county. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, we're proud to announce the launch of a new marketing brand for Roanoke County. You'll be seeing this brand on things beginning in the middle of May, and beginning with social media sites and some easy to reach targets here pretty soon.
Describe some of the features of the new brand.
Well, the new brand features the profile for McAfee's Knob, as well as some distinctive typography that represent the county. The colors, the green for the nurturing and the nature part of the county. The blue represents the kind of field and the Blue Ridge Mountains in the area, as well as the sky.
Okay, and how was the brand designed?
It's been a long process with executive staff, line staff, even the Board of Supervisors have had an input on the look and feel of our new brand. So it's been a long process, and we feel that we've created a mark that is really distinctive and really reflects the uniqueness of Roanoke County.
And part of that process, a vision statement was developed by the Board of Supervisors, and this kind of spawned off of it, right?
That's exactly right. Part of the board's vision statement is that we have a very scenic and vibrant community. This, of course, reflects that kind of scenic aspect of our community, a vibrant and innovative, with a very modern look to this. So that kind of reflects the kind of innovation we'd hope to seek and express throughout our community, as reflected in the board's vision statement.
And why did you feel like this was a good time for a change?
Well, using McAfee's Knob in particular is very reflective of other efforts in the state for state marketing, outdoor recreation, Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge. All these organizations are devoted to bringing people into the valley for the Appalachian Trail, for outdoor recreation. And we felt it was a really good time to highlight a really scenic icon available only in Roanoke County.
How will people begin seeing this new brand?
Well, some people will see this on our social media sites, perhaps even some county vehicles, and if things go well, we even have some county gateway signage in the works and in the plans in the future. So as we go along, we'll be using this as we through attrition, and so you'll begin to see this mark kind of become prevalent in the things that the county does on a day-to-day basis, really to reflect the service levels of the county. And so I really hope that everyone can embrace the mark the way staff has.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing this information. I know our viewers will be interested to see this new look and how it will be incorporated into the feel of Roanoke County. So thanks for sharing this.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Have you ever had an emergency? Immediately, you call 911, and for that instant, all you can do is put your life in the hands of the men and women who come to save the day. As an EMT, you step into that world and make a huge impact in the lives of people who need help. As an EMT, you could be the one person who could change a life forever. This is the mission of the Vinton First Aid Crew. The Vinton First Aid Crew is looking for volunteers who would like to help with their community. Some of the benefits of becoming a volunteer include training opportunities, working in an amazing building with up-to-date technology, having a flexible schedule, become part of the active competition team, volunteer incentives for future jobs, and more. For more information on becoming a volunteer with the Vinton First Aid Crew, call 540-983-0641, send an email to volunteer@vintonems.com, or you can visit their website at vintonems.com.